you'll miss some of this otherwise. But yeah, they talk about the Liver King a bit too.
Hmm.
Have you seen the shit going on with? Oh, I
Oh,
said I told you about it,
yeah,
didn't
I
I?
didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it until you sent it to me. I cannot believe like though how ill the guy looks though.
It's fucking wild, mate. And
Yeah,
and look, I don't like the seeing that. I think there's a lot of people out there that enjoy
the demise of him
seeing
sort
the
of.
demise of people. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of fucking really just not nice people out there like that. And it says it tells me a lot more about them than it does him.
Hmm.
Like they just enjoy it. You can see her in the comments and like
Yeah.
it's not nice to see someone having like an outbreak, in front of the world.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day as well, he has brought a lot of this on himself too. Like,
Yeah.
you think of his uprising and what his whole business was built off of about being this alpha and looking this certain way and really the whole time we all knew it, like he was obviously on steroids and this, that, and
Hmm.
the other, but building a brand off the back of that and saying, oh no, it's just because I eat liver and I live this lifestyle. I'm sorry. You're a walking pharmacy, mate. There's just like
Yeah.
so much going on there. But have you watched all of the like I couldn't keep up
I
with
just
the
watched the
videos.
clip you sent me, really. I just watched a little bit of that. But what's his shape like now? Has his shape changed so much? Because his face just looked like
Oh
so.
mate, it's wild. It's wild. Apparently, because his eye is like his one eye was like messed up compared to the other one. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, so apparently, something hit him in the eye
Hmm.
and detached his retina. So he
Right.
had stem cells put in there,
Hmm.
and that's why his eye looks the way that it does. He looks like I don't know. Like I'd get a patch over there personally. I'd get a cool patch. That's what I would do with like skulls on there or something, skull and a cross. Oh, that's the move. That's the move, Just get an eye patch. You made her in life. Then you've got an eye
Yeah.
patch. But no, he said yeah. He's just obviously lost it, and he got arrested too. I don't know if you saw that. Like
Yeah. The
you
boy
know.
sent me. Yeah.
I just can't believe it. But anyway, they end up talking a little bit about that. But anyway, so should we talk about this coaches versus influencers thing then?
Yeah. Yeah. Go for it. Yeah. So yeah.
Where do we start with this, mate? Because you send me DMs on the
Can't remember
weekly.
what I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember what I last sent. Well, I can't remember what I sent you that triggered this one. Then
Oh, well, you
did I
get
send you
so
something that
much.
triggered this or not? I don't know.
Oh, you send me stuff all the time, mate. There's something
Yeah.
new every week. I just see a DM from James out of the blue from nowhere, and I'm like, here we go, get ready. He's trying to rile me up here. I click on it and it's just some absolute imbecile doing something, with a client, and I'm like, I can't deal with this. What was the last one that you sent me? Was
I have
it
no
the
idea.
guy who had his client like squatting on some bands? Was that you who sent me that or someone
No, you
else?
sent me that one.
Ah, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. That
He
shit's
was.
crazy.
Yeah. 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 I don't know who that was, but yeah.
It's just mad, mate. Some of the stuff you see on social media now. I was chatting to my mate about this the other day in the gym, and I was like, it's hard not to be cynical. Like, I try not to be, like, because it's hard for people, like, ultimately, I've got a background in this where, it's my expertise, like, ultimately, me looking at these posts is about as transparent as I'd said this to you is about as transparent as looking out my window. I can see this person is an entertainer.
Yeah.
I'm not taking them seriously as a coach. Like how could I? Like they having their clients like balancing on a resistance band, which is looped around a J hook, doing squats with a bar on their back, sliding up and down the rack.
Yeah.
It's like to me that's like obvious. It's like that's doing nothing,
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. And then you click on the comments and you have a look at the comments and all of like people buying into it saying, oh yeah, this is doing something. Yeah, yeah, this looks amazing. What an athlete being able to do this. And we both know that isn't the case. But the problem is that people are buying into it. And I think that's why I want to talk about this podcast, obviously today, coaches versus influencers, because there is a very, very stark difference between the two. You
Mm.
know, you've got people that make the Formula One cars, and you got people that drive the Formula One cars. They're both involved in Formula One cars, but they're very, very different roles. You
Yeah.
know, and the same applies to this. You have chefs and you have nutritionists,
Mm.
and yes, they both involve food, but the again very, very different things. Um, and we were just talking about him, Liver King, right before we came on, and obviously his demise and what's going on with him. Um, but that's an example of someone who's been found out, but
Yeah.
ultimately he's made a lot of money, before that, and grown his businesses and everything else. So what would you say then is how would you like say someone's listening to this who has no idea about training or nutrition, doesn't know where to look? What would you say are some of the differences between identifying the difference between a coach and an influencer?
I think, well, there are loads of influencers now, aren't there? The problem is now is anyone, and I think it's more so in the aesthetic side of like fitness, where people are like get in shape. So someone gets
Right.
in shape, be it with the help of another coach or whatever, all of a sudden then they think they are a coach themselves, be it in training or nutrition, and they're just slapping up pictures of themselves and then showing their lives on there, and then all of a sudden they're selling coaching off the back of it, without any real without any results or any formal education or training background. Like that's just an influencer, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
Compared to someone who is like for example, on the training side, someone on the training side should probably have been working in the industry for a few years and have experience like working hands-on with clients. That doesn't like necessarily mean they need to be personally training clients right now, because like they could be like an online coach, but they should have had like, what you say, skin in the game, been in the trenches, and they've had experience like training a client in person, not just jumped online and been like, do you know what, I've trained myself and now I'm gonna train a gazillion other people online because I know what I'm doing.
do you know the one of the ones that annoy me? I don't know if you've seen this trend of like these like lifters, so they train out at like pure gyms or whatever,
Right.
and they talk into a microphone like this, and they're like really socially awkward. They try and come across that way, and like, hi, my name is Ryan, and today I am squatting. Have you seen like,
I
and they
haven't
put on
seen
a
it.
voice? I have to
All
send you
right.
some videos. I've forgotten what their names are, but and I'm looking at, I'm like, oh my God, this is clearly just some guy who trains at a pure gym and has found a way to like, tag on to this trend of people talking in this really like specific weird way that they do, and it attracts a lot of attention.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you look in their bio and you can just see, click here to join my program, and that speaks to what you're on about. Like, they're influencers, they're not coaches. Like me and you, we have like, I can't tell you how many people have coached. Like, I
Mm.
wouldn't be able to put a number on that. Like, like in person. I know I'm online now, but I spent years coaching people in
That's it,
person.
isn't it? Having
Years.
that background and that skill. Like if you take like any of these people, as someone online, you should be able to then go, right, okay, I'm a coach online, but you could put me one to one with a person in the gym and I'll be very comfortable at coaching what I'm coaching online. That
Yeah,
doesn't like take you and put you on the track and get you coaching sprinting, but take you and put you in the gym and get you coaching squats, deadlifts, bench, etc. And you're going to be like a duck to water.
yeah.
Likewise with the stuff I coach. But like, and that should be the thing. Whereas it just isn't. A lot of people are like, yeah, they're just they think they're coaching online, but it should be that you've got the experience in person before you go online. But it seems to be almost like online is almost the first go-to now.
Yeah, it's crazy, mate. Absolutely. I remember one mentor I used to have, and it's one of the productive things he taught me is you got to earn your stripes.
Mm.
you know, and you know that's so true. Like you have to spend if you actually care about helping people, because a lot of these influencers don't, right? Like they really don't. But you have to be willing to spend years in a gym working with people in person, you know, doing the hours you probably don't want to work, waking up in the dark and coming home in the dark. Like how many times have you done that? You know, like I remember like getting up pitch black, coming home and it's pitch black. I've got half an hour for food before going to bed. I
Yeah.
did that for like ages, you
Mm.
know, and it's necessary so that you can master your craft. And also that goes alongside the mentorships, you know, the courses, the in-person events, reading books, you know, like all of that stuff to create the person that you are today, where you can go online and you can help people and you can create a business for yourself. And, you know, I just think that, as you said, there's people that are just jumping to the last step today and missing the first 20. You know, like it's a long process to be able to get to where, you know, like what we're doing today. You know,
Yeah,
it
you have
takes
to.
time.
Yeah, so you have to have been able to achieve results in person, I think, before you go online.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
like Ben is a prime example of that. Like now, ATG have like thousands of success stories online, but like before any of that, he was getting loads of success at the gym in Florida, in
Yeah.
person way before he went online. So then you like you said, you've like you've earned the right to then go online because you have that ability to coach people and it's proven. But people just think, oh, I'm in shape or I'm strong or I'm ever. So I've done it to myself. So yeah, I can just go online, sell plans and make it work for everyone. And that's just not the case.
The problem is, say, people are believing the following more than the credibility of the
Yeah.
coach. And I know we've talked about that. People will click on a profile and see 60,000 followers, and then you see some dude who's like got like 2,000 followers and hardly any likes on his profile, but they can actually help you out way more than the
Mm.
person, you know, the 20-year-old who's, you know, just recording entertaining content in Pure Gym, you know. And that's something I think that completely puts people off. You know, they see, oh, this person hasn't got a massive following. Oh, that, you know, they must not be much. But we both know that that isn't true. You know,
Oh,
and I think people fall into that trap all the time. You were talking to me about that about the sprint coach you've hired, right? What's his name?
yeah, Daniel Booth. He's brilliant.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, he doesn't have a big following, and he's worked with, I'm sure you wouldn't mind saying, but like a ton of football players, high level track athletes at GB, and he doesn't post about it online, and doesn't use their name for clout. Whereas you'll get other coaches who do. So consequently, he doesn't have the big following, but he's more likely to get like professional athletes reach out to him because they don't want their videos shared all over someone's Instagram story.
Right, right. I've got you. I think that the reason why these influencers have such bigger followings than coaches, I think, is a couple of things. One, I think sometimes coaches struggle with content creation in general. Like, you know,
Mm.
even when I got into the online world, like it took me years to like to get half decent at content creation and to understand my audience and all of that sort of stuff. I think the biggest difference though is that coaches, if they are worth their salt, understand there's a lot of nuance to things, whereas influencers post inflammatory content for clicks.
Mhm.
And if you take a look at, you know, what's more clickable and what's more easier to jump on board with, well, polarizing inflammatory content really is that, isn't it? You know, you can,
Yeah.
you know, and because ultimately they don't care. These influencers don't care about helping you deep down. They care about attention, right? And they care about just how much money's churning through their bank accounts. So they'll put whatever they want to put out there if it means more attention.
Mm.
And you know, you see characters like the Liver King, for instance, who emerges, right? Like literally walking around on his hands and feet through a hotel lobby like a gorilla. So you have these influencers out there. And it's really, really hard today to determine the difference between someone who actually wants to help you versus
Mm.
someone who just wants you to click on their post and to make more money And the other one I've got from Lever King, mate. Have you seen this dude?
No,
Uh,
you said about it. I've never heard of him.
oh man, he might be the worst. I just and the thing is for me, it triggers me even more because that is my area of expertise, right? As coaches, we all have our areas, right? For me, I'm a strength coach, right? That's why I'm first and foremost I'm a strength coach. And when I see him like bashing the barbell, and saying how if pulling up videos of like Olympic weightlifters who are like 20 and saying, yeah, they're gonna have to have hip surgery in 10 years if they keep going this way. Man, it's just like that needs to be called out, it
Yeah,
needs
yeah,
to be called out. That's an influencer. He's not a coach. You're not a coach. You're an influencer. I see what you're doing. That most people can't. I
yeah.
see what you're doing. So you have to be so careful about who you trust, right? Because nobody wants to be spinning their wheels. Any other red flags you'd look out for with influencer versus coach?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it's big in the nutrition world as well because I mean, like I said, it's so easy in the nutrition world to just someone gets in shape and then, you know, sells sells plans off the back of that and with no care in the world for how they leave someone at the end of it. It's like do no harm is something I was always taught through MNU. So through the work you do with someone on their nutrition,
Right,
that's why I don't just go and give someone a friggin' 500 calorie diet off the get-go, or whatever it be. Like speak to the person, find out their goals, their struggles, everything else. But like a lot of people just selling like a fat loss plan or whatever online. It's just like, yeah, it's no care in the world for what happens to the person, but they're just selling it off the back of themselves with a six pack. So
right. And the meal plans too that come with that, right? Because legally, am I wrong in saying this? But legally, I don't think PTs are able to give clients
oh
meal
yeah, yeah,
plans.
yeah,
Is that true?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they still do, don't they?
Yeah,
A lot of them.
I think like the nutrition world, fitness world is quite unregulated, really. So
It's just wild, isn't it?
yeah,
And like you say, they'll chuck these meal plans at them. They just signed up for this fat loss program wherever, and then that's that. They don't ever follow up or ask how they're doing or how the implications that might have on that person, and they're
mm,
just left to their own devices.
mm,
No wonder, like when we jump on call, I jump on calls to people. People can be very standoffish because they've had such bad experiences with trainers, and it's such a shame, isn't it? Because there
yeah,
are
yeah,
genuine coaches
yeah.
out there. But
That is the thing, though, isn't it? With like fitness and nutrition, like whatever, it's like is so much there's access to so much of it out there for everyone. But like, yeah, you need to be careful that what you're doing doesn't leave you in a worse position than when you started. You know?
right, yeah, yeah,
Um, so I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole of like, you know, GLP-1 injections, but like, so many people jump on those now, but with like without any necessarily like coaching alongside of it of like how to eat properly. And
yeah.
I just think yeah, you may be shooting yourself in the foot long term, because you're essentially just pressing pause on the film while you're using
Well, I've had a couple of conversations about that with people that are taking Manjaro and spending £200 a month,
a month.
but then reluctant to get coaching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Many
yeah,
conversations,
it's an
many.
awkward one because I mean, I'm all for them because they allow people to be more adherent to what they're being
Yeah,
coached on in terms of like their nutrition and things. If they're working with someone like like a coach who can help them with what they're eating. If they're just going, oh, do you know what? I just need to lose weight and I'm going to do this. Well, that's fine, but you are in the wild taking shots, hoping that you hit the target, and
yeah.
it will blunt your appetite. You will lose weight, but unless you plan to be on it forever without like adjusting your lifestyle and what you do, like improving your activity, learning to eat properly, then like I said, you're just pressing pause.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And it's a real world issue because
Mm.
people are just jumping on these medications and they just think, oh, yeah, I'll take this and that's that.
So I heard
That's-
someone
yeah,
the other day say, "Oh, are you?" I bet it must affect your work with like I'm with nutrition coaching. And I'm like, well, not really, because again, it's like someone like people, it's like someone using any kind of like weight loss injection needs nutrition coaching more than ever if they want any hope of sustaining their results.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
couldn't agree more, mate. Couldn't agree more. Well, anyway, should we end this rant on coaches versus influencers and call that
yeah,
one there?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, be so careful, guys. Seriously, like we're both just very passionate about this. I can go off on one, I know, but um, I do it because I care, and especially when you invest so much time like we have into this, it's our life outside of our family and my own training.
Mm.
So, it's what I do, and I really care and I'm passionate about it. And when I see people that are insincere, are not genuine and just want to take money, it just drives me up the wall like nothing else, So, anyway, do you want to see us out of this one, mate? Because I did the last one.
Oh, it feels weird. It feels different.
It
Guys,
does feel different.
if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review and subscribe on Spotify, and we'll catch you in the next one. Boom.